What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my best albums of 2019 list. As you would expect from my channel, this is mostly going to be hip-hop, but I do have a couple of other genres in here like funk and R&B. This is also 100% my opinion, so by doing this list, I'm not telling you what you should like, what you shouldn't like. I'm not going off general consensus, sales, or anything like that. This is just how I feel looking back through the year at some of the albums I reviewed. Obviously, I take into account my ratings that I've given throughout the year and just reflecting back on how I feel about them now. So you could probably guess what some of my top albums are going to be, but we're going to jump right into it, man, starting with the number 30 spot, which goes to Blood Orange's project Angel's Pulse. I actually first got into Blood Orange with his album Negro Swan, which did make my year-end list the year that it came out, and this one kind of follows up that same sound because it's a bunch of unreleased tracks and loosies. You're still getting that minimalistic, smooth, and silky soundscape from Blood Orange, the vocals are great, the features are great, and Dark and Handsome featuring Toro y Moi, that shit was one of my favorite songs of the year, man. I listened to that so many damn times I've lost track, so this deserves to be on this list, and it's going to start it off at number 30. For number 29, we have Raphael Saadiq with Jimmy Lee, and Raphael Saadiq is a legend who's been in the game for decades now. You might remember when he was a part of Tony, but as a solo artist, he's given us plenty of great music too. He's an excellent vocalist. I love the instrumentals on this project. You're going to get a lot of great bass lines, some guitar work, really just a smooth project all around. And this has another song that was one of my favorite songs of the year, Something Keeps Calling. This one is incredible, and what I like about that song in particular, as well as the whole album, is how it deals with the concept of addiction and how it affects people as well as their loved ones. So this has a cool concept to it. Very good project if you're looking for some grown folks R&B. Do not sleep on it. And at number 28, as I scroll down my notes here, we have Tuxedo with Tuxedo 3. And as an old school fan of that funk and soul, Tuxedo always delivers, man. If you're not familiar with them, it's Jake One on the beats and Mayor Hawthorne coming through with those very catchy vocals. So if you want something bright and bouncy, something to turn up with when you're at a barbecue, maybe a party, the club, maybe you're driving in the summertime with an ascot on, just being super classy, this is the shit you want to go with, man. Kind of has that 80s feel to it. So I really enjoyed this one. It is a must-have for special events. Now at number 27, we have a project that I'm sure is going to cause people to wonder what the hell is this project doing on here, but I'm going to go with Drake's Care Package. I've been a very hard critic of Drake over the past couple of years because I think he hasn't had a great album for many years, but I thought this right here was a nice collection of unreleased tracks back from his glory days when he was making Nothing Was the Same, Take Care. I think if you're reading this, It's Too Late was kind of in the mix with some of these tracks as well. Whatever the case, this just really shows Drake when he was at his best with his rapping and singing. Excellent production choices, really just a dope project as far as unreleased tracks, and it would be nice if Drake could get back to this level. For number 26, we have RJ Payne with Square Root of a Kilo, and if you like bars, just clever ass metaphors, lyrics, hard-hitting street shit, you are absolutely going to love this one, man. You're getting gritty production from people like P.A. Dre, Derringer, DJ Shay. You're getting assistance from top-tier spitters like 38 Special and Elzai. Do not sleep on this one. I think RJ Payne is an artist to watch out for, and he did say on his social media recently that he is going to try to bring a bit more content with some of his newer music coming out. So I can't wait to hear that, man. I think when he puts it all together, he could make a classic, because as far as straight up spitting goes, RJ Payne is doing the damn thing, so keep it up. Coming in at number 25, we have The Game with Born to Rap, and I know this one had people split, but I thought it was pretty dope, especially considering how cheesy that cover was, the lazy title, the long track list. This one really exceeded my expectations. I thought there were a lot of great beats on there. There's a lot of nostalgia with some of the samples that are being used, as well as his references and name drops as you would expect, and I thought he was doing some really good rapping on here, man. This is a project, like I said, that's a little bit divisive, but for me, I thought it was dope, and certainly up there as one of Game's better project, so I wanted to make sure it was included here. For the number 24 spot, we have Blue and Oh No with A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer Night, and this is a really cool album where Blue is ripping some great flows and rhyme schemes. He is rapping his ass off all over this. You got Oh No coming through with some gritty underground sample-based production, stuff that's a little bit more lo-fi and grungy. I really like the beats on here, and there's also a concept. You get a bunch of guests on here who are playing the parts, sort of like a role-playing thing here as this story is being told. So if you like a concept album with a good story, this is something you don't want to sleep on, and it deserves to be on this list. As for the number 23 spot, we got Snow Allegra with Ugh, Those Feels Again. and this was one of my favorite R&B projects of the year. To be honest with you, I did kind of sleep on R&B, so you're not going to see too much of that on my list, and I know there are plenty of projects out there that I probably should have checked out, but this right here has silky, velvety, smooth vocals from Snow. I really like her voice. I think she's a great singer, and the production fits nicely as well. You're going to get some ballad joints, you're going to get some stuff that might work for the late night creep, has a bit of deep bass on it, just kind of hazy and atmospheric. Great production, great vocals. There are some pretty good things on there as well as the songwriting goes. Nothing too crazy, but it works, you know. You're in your feelings, you're missing a relationship or shit ain't going right. This is a perfect album for that. A little bit of neo soul as well. So check it out, Snow Allegro. For number 22, we have 2 Chainz with Rap or Go to the League, and just like the Game album and the Drake album that I mentioned earlier, this is another one that I think people were kind of split on, but I really like how we're getting the 2 sides of 2 Chainz here. You're still going to get those bangers and all the humor and bragging that you would expect from him, but then he's going to hit you up with some really great sample-based joints. I really love some of the production on here, especially some of those singles that he put out, and he is actually spitting a little bit about social commentary, telling his story, just going deeper with his lyricism, so you are getting that classic Chainz, but also another side of Chainz that he's only shown glimpses of before in the past. Definitely a big 2 Chainz fan. Some of his mixtapes were hit or miss for me because I really like when he is on the sample-based stuff and when he is going deeper. So this was made for me, man. I really did like this one, and just like with any other project, I want to know how you guys felt about that and everything else on my list here. But for number 21, we have Bun B and Static Selector with Trill Static, and this was one of the most interesting albums of the year because it was actually recorded on a live stream over the span of 11 or 12 hours. And what's cool about that is you can really feel the fun and chemistry that these artists had together. You got Bun B putting it together as one of the dopest, most underappreciated MCs ever in my opinion. He's not too complicated with the flows or anything, but he's an OG and a pioneer. Static Selector is on here with some of his best work within the past couple of years. I think the beats on this are great. And then the features they brought in really fit nicely, man. The features ripped this shit up. I like that you can feel the chemistry. You can actually watch the live stream. It is up out there if you wanted to see them putting this together. Really just a quality album that you can tell was made in a fun setting where they just said, you know what, let's get some great beats, get some great bars from some of our homies, and make a project. You can feel that on this one, and it's really dope. For number 20, we have Murs with The Iliad is Dead and The Odyssey is Over. And as soon as you see this as a Murs album that's produced by Ninth Wonder and the Soul Council, you kind of already know it's going to be dope. I mean, what could be wrong with that pairing, right? You got the Soul Council and Ninth Wonder on here coming through with a lot of sample-based joints. You get some shit that is a bit more hard-hitting, some stuff that's kind of laid back, as well as a very well-placed Zelda sample. Shout out to that. I thought that was dope on Super Kojo Brothers. And Murs is providing a lot of balance with his bars here. One minute he's dropping wisdom, another moment he's getting humorous, he's telling stories. There are some great features on here that fit in as well. You're gonna get some bar fests. Really a solid album all around, so check it out. I feel like I'm saying that about every project on this list, man. Just assume that I want you to check it out if I like it, because I want to share it with you, man. I want to make sure maybe you hear some of these projects that you didn't check for. And another one that might fall under that, like a project I didn't see many people talking about, is my number 19 spot where I have Smith and Wesson with The All. Smith and Wesson are OGs who have been at it since the 90s, and all these years later, man, that chemistry is still on point. They are rapping their asses off on here. You're getting some great content, and it is backed up, once again, like with the Murs album, by that Ninth Wonder and Soul Council production. Very soulful backdrops here, getting some great features. You got Rhapsody on this thing. Music is on here as well. Do not sleep on Smith and Wesson The All. Really was feeling these beats. Overall, just a light vibe. And they're kicking some wisdom too, because they're OGs, so they know what they're talking about. And on the topic of OGs, at the number 18 spot, we have Starr with One of the Best Yet. And I was a little bit skeptical about this one, man, because you know how it is with those posthumous album releases. Sometimes they come out and shit is just really sloppy and mixed up. It doesn't seem natural. But obviously, DJ Premier, he has the blessings of Guru's family. They worked together for a long time. He got his hands on these verses of Guru's. And he really just did it justice, man. He put it together as great as you would expect DJ Premier to. I shouldn't have been skeptical in the first place, but this was just a refreshing take on Starr's music. You get some new school stuff happening here with features from guys like J. Cole. And one thing that really shocked me about this one, I don't want to say it shocked me actually, but one thing that stood out to me is how Guru's rapping on this. Like the stuff he's rapping about still rings true today, man. And these are some old verses. So he's rapping a lot about the hip hop game, fake rappers, how rappers come and go, all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate what they did with this one. Do not sleep on it. You're getting a lot of knowledge on here about the state of hip-hop and just how fickle the game can be. So check it out if you're an upcoming rapper especially. You might learn a thing or two with that. As for the number 17 spot, we have a late entry with Renata's album Bubba. This one, man, is just so damn fun. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like when you're out on the town, you're at the club dancing, you got both your drinks in the air, maybe you got some straws, rum over here, vodka over here, I don't know, you're just having a damn good time. You got your girl dancing in front of you, just backing up on you. That's what this feels like. It's just some danceable, fun, bright music. The singing on this is excellent. All the singers that he chose are very talented. It's not people who are overdosed in auto-tune and vocal effects. Really just a fun album all around, and Renata continues to show that he's one of the best producers out when it comes to making danceable music. So you might put this one along with Tuxedo for when you want to have a good time. You could do that, put it in a playlist and mix it up, and people are going to enjoy themselves wherever you guys are at. As for the number 16 spot, moving on, we have Maxo Cream with Brandon Banks, and if you ask me, very quietly, Maxo Cream is showing that he's one of the best newer rappers. I know he has been active for a little while, but as someone who's been listening to rap for such a long time, I still consider him newer, at least in regards to how people have been talking about him within the past couple of years. He had that Punkin' album, which made my year-end list when it came out. I thought that was great, because what he did on there was he had a lot of bangers, like some new school shit happening, some catchy hooks as well, but then he had some sample-based joints, very deep and open, honest storytelling about his family and street experiences, and you are getting all that here. So if you like Punkin', I cannot see you being disappointed with this. If you never checked either album, check them both out if you like the way that I described it. Very versatile production, and he also raps with that signature bouncy style that I think sets him apart from some of the other rappers out there. So I definitely fuck with Maxo Cream, and this album will be getting played over 2020 and, you know, moving forward. At number 15, we have Denzel Curry with Zoo. And what I liked about this is how he kept it simple. You know, this is basically a love letter to Miami, where he comes from. You're going to get a lot of angry, aggressive trunk slappers. It's not deep like his last album, Taboo, but he is still rapping his ass off with that charisma, energy, personality, and passion that you would expect from Denzel. Throw in the fact that you are getting some features that are, you know, people from Miami, from the area. Same with the producers, same with some of the stuff that he's rapping about. Really came together well, man. A little bit of a concept album in that sense, and this is one that I appreciate when I want something loud in the car, or just to turn something ignorant up in my basement when I want to, you know, just get ignorant, I guess. So definitely check out Denzel Curry's Zoo if you haven't. Moving forward, at the number 14 spot is Jim Jones with El Capo, and this is honestly one of the biggest surprises of 2019 in my opinion. I have liked some of Jim Jones's music in the past, obviously. I was a Dipset fan. I like that Vampire Life stuff that he was doing a couple of years back. Maybe it was longer than that, 5 to 10 years, something like that. But whatever the case, this shit right here has some of my favorite beats of the year on it. The Heatmakers absolutely went off. Jim Jones stepped his bars up all the way. I was just not expecting a Jim Jones project to be on my list in 2019, but here we are, well deserved. Check it out if you've been sleeping on it, man. If you kind of like that Dipset sound, that Heatmakers production, and the idea of Jim Jones stepping up his rapping, you're gonna like this one, so give it a spin. At number 13, we have Benny the Butcher with The Plugs I Met. This one was short and to the point. It wasn't an overly long project, but Benny the Butcher is continuing to show that he is one of the best new MCs on the come up, man. He has been on a tear over the past couple of years. He's killing shit. He's doing the same thing here. You're even going to hear him going toe to toe with people like Black Thought, Jadakiss. Then you got that song Sunday School, which has a verse of the year contender from 38 Special, man. That shit is just nasty as hell. Grimy beats, great bars. Really like what Griselda Records is doing, and with Benny the Butcher in the mix, they really cannot lose because he is batting 100 as far as I'm concerned. At number 12, we have Anderson .Paak with Ventura, and I am so glad that he got back on track, man, because I absolutely loved his album Malibu. I still keep a physical copy in my car, but then when he dropped Oxnard, it honestly just didn't feel like that real soulful Anderson .Paak. Dr. Dre's involvement was heavy, there's some more rapping on there, and it just, I don't know, it didn't feel like a true Anderson .Paak album to me, whereas this one right here is so damn good, man. He's singing all over it, very funky and soulful. You're gonna get great features on here from Smokey Robinson to Andre 3000 to the GOAT Hookmaster himself, Nate Dogg. R.I.P. I always got love for Nate Dogg, one of my favorite artists, low key. This was really just a great comeback for me. Not to say that I thought Oxnard was trash, it certainly wasn't, and I still liked songs on there, but the bulk of this album shines when Anderson .Paak is just singing, having fun, keeping the funk and soul alive, and that's what I want from Anderson .Paak's music. So I think this is just perfect in a playlist with Malibu. If you loved Malibu, you're absolutely going to be happy with this one, but you probably know that already because you probably heard it, so there you go. At number 11, we have what might be the wackiest, zaniest album of the year, and that is Tobacco and Aesop Rock's album Malibu Ken. This shit is just so strange, man. I remember it did take a couple days to kind of grow on me. The beats are very different because they've got a lot of heavy synth on it. They got a little bit of a video game sound to them at times, so I really like what Tobacco did there. I think the beats on this stand out from a lot of the stuff we've heard this year. And then Aesop Rock, his pen game is fucking crazy, man. I love how he takes these really weird concepts and raps about them, like whether he's telling the tale of a real-life murder story on one song, or on another song, he's rapping about watching a live stream where birds of prey are ripping apart cats like churros. That song Churro is one of my favorite songs of the year. It's absolutely hilarious. Such a weird concept. Definitely check this one out if you haven't, man. It's kind of experimental, very different from a lot of what we heard this year. So this was one that I can really praise when it comes to creativity, uniqueness, cool concepts. Really dope album, Malibu Ken. Check it out. Alright everybody, we are now down to the top 10, starting off with Boogie's debut album, Everything's for Sale. I thought this shit was so smooth and groovy, the hooks are catchy, the beats are very laid back. If I like to smoke still, I would definitely be laying back, listening to some of these songs like Skydive. Also Live 95, that is one of my favorite songs of the year. I was absolutely killing it. And I just think he's very skilled when it comes to the hooks. He has this raspy voice that sets him apart. He has some nice flows on here when he's rapping. He just comes across as this young man who is sort of, you know, understanding that he's made mistakes in the past. He's trying to do better. He's speaking on his trials and tribulations. I thought there was quite a bit more depth to this album than it got credit for, based on what I've seen some other people say and in other reviews. Of course, it's all opinion. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I don't know. This album just really resonated with me. I liked it a lot, and I'm glad that it did make it into my top 10. But moving on to my number 9 is Kweli Chris with Guns, and this is another very strong concept album, like some of the albums I talked about earlier in here. So what you're going to get with this one is Kweli Chris exploring the idea of guns and how different people use them in different situations in different parts of America. Really just explores that sort of obsession with guns that America has. There's even some parts on here that deal with school shootings and the sadder side of things. You're going to get some role playing on here. He's going to do a lot of storytelling as well. You get personal content where he's speaking on his legacy and his place in hip hop as someone who's sort of weird, people would say, not in a bad way. He's just different, kind of doing his own thing. And yeah, the production is great as well, with a lot of experimentation and variety to keep things fresh. In particular, that Obamacare, man, that shit was a goddamn slapper. Really like this album, and I'm not surprised it made it this far up on my top 10 list here. But for number 8, we have Skye and Pete Rock with Retropolitan. This is another one of those ones where you just know it's going to be dope when you see who is involved. You got Skye on here as a top-tier lyricist. I think he's just crazy with the bars, the double and triple entendres, his flows. He puts on a masterclass when it comes to rapping. And Pete Rock, come on, man. Pete Rock's name speaks for itself. He is a legend, an icon, a pioneer, all those sorts of things that you would use to describe a person who deserves the utmost respect. That is Pete Rock. And this is a cool album where they use nostalgia and other ideas just to explore New York. So you are going to get a lot of vivid imagery and storytelling here. Really a dope record and worth being in the top 10. And coming in at number 7 is what might be the most underrated and slept on album of the year in my opinion, and that is Sampath the Great with The Return. This one is just beautiful, man. You're going to get a lot of variety and versatility on display, whether she's absolutely ripping shit with her flows or coming through with beautiful vocals, neo-soul joints, experimental bangers, traditional sample-based classic hip-hop, and the content is pretty dope as well because she's providing this very unique perspective. She's a Zambian Australian woman, I believe, if I have that correct based on the stuff that I've read. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but she's really just speaking on her place and things she's experienced, as well as culture vultures in hip-hop and how people really are taking advantage of black culture and hip-hop. They're not appreciating it, they're getting ahead, and meanwhile here she is making this great music, not getting any attention and shit like that. So I really like what she was spitting about on there. And yeah, man, check this one out. Do not sleep on it. Like I said, I think this one was very slept on and is well deserving of being heard. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have Little Simz with Gray Area, and she is just putting on a songwriting clinic here, man. She is an open and honest book all over this album. She's also just ripping shit up sometimes on songs like Venom, where she comes through with some of the year's craziest flows, just rapping really fast and actually saying a lot of things at the same time, not just cramming shit together for the sake of it, by the way. And then you get this versatile production from Inflow, including some joints that are kind of rockish, where she's getting aggressive over top of these beats. Really a unique project. I like this one a lot, so you know you're not going to get any excessive fat or filler on this thing either. Very tight project, deserves to be at number 6. Now for number 5, we have someone else who's from the UK, just like Little Sims, and that is Slowtie with Nothing Great About Britain. Kind of like Malibu Ken in the sense that, you know, this one took a little bit to grow on me because at first it was just kind of weird and different, mostly because of his wild and zany rap style. He's sort of off-kilter. Some people would say he's off-beat, but maybe he's just in a different pocket. However you want to describe it, I think it sounds absolutely dope. I love his accent on top as well. Really just provides a cool feel to it. And he shows a lot of versatility on here, whether he's rapping over beautiful soul sample joints like Gorgeous, one of my favorite songs of the year, coming through on bangers like Inglorious Bastard, another favorite song of the year, or punk-infused tracks like Doorman. That one was a lot of fun. I said in my review that it kind of reminded me of a train spotting montage. That's just what it sounds like. You know, you'd hear that song during a train spotting montage. So, truly great album. He's brutally honest about his life experiences and how he feels about Britain, both the good things and the bad things. He's just not scared to speak on what he's saying. He provides a very refreshing perspective and is open about it. So, super dope album. And moving on from the top 5 to number 4 as I scroll down, is Rhapsody with Eve. And Rhapsody over the years has made her claim as one of the top MCs. And I'm not saying, you know, top female MC, I'm saying top MC period, because she always comes through with great flows, content, rhyme schemes. I love her delivery. She plays around with her voice a bit. And on this one, she's really speaking beautifully and poetically about the inner strength and perseverance and beauty of black women all over this thing. You can see it in the song titles, since the titles are named after beautiful, powerful black women. And yeah, you're getting production that mostly comes from Ninth Wonder and Eric G. So Rhapsody continues to be an artist who will not let you down. Another strong performance in the books with this right here, Eve. Now we are down to the top 3, and we are starting again with a project that I think was kind of slept on, and I didn't see enough people talking about it, but maybe after this video people will talk about it. Add to Jim Crow the Musical. This album just snuck into my list because it just came out not that long ago, but it's a very powerful album. If you like albums that deal with black excellence, perseverance, and strength, you are absolutely going to love this, because not only does he speak on these topics, he explores them in very interesting ways, man. He comes through with historical references, he's getting deep about his own personal experiences as a black man, some of the worries that he has and things that he faces as a black man in America, and he's coming through with creative concepts, clever wordplay, vivid storytelling. Do not sleep on this album. It deserves much more attention. Great production on there as well. A lot of sample-based stuff. So Add2 is doing his damn thing. Shout out to Add2. Keep it going. You deserve that number 3 spot. But coming down to the number 2 spot, we have Little Brother May the Lord Watch. And for me personally, this was one of the best surprises of the damn year, man. How long have some of us fans been waiting for a new Little Brother album? Like forever, man. This shit we thought was impossible. We thought it wasn't gonna happen, but anything is possible. We got this new Little Brother album, goddammit. This shit is so fucking smooth. I love it, man. The bars are still on point. Fonte and rapper Big Pooh do their damn thing all over this. And guess what? There's no Ninth Wonder involvement. It does not matter, because this shit is still beautiful, man. Close to perfect, to be honest with you. Like, I know people were kind of skeptical when this came out, just in the sense that, you know, Ninth Wonder wasn't involved. I think some people were worried about how it would sound, but this sounds like a Little Brother album, man. It really does feel like you could put it back to back with The Minstrel Show, not just because of the production style that's very smooth and a lot of great sample work, the excellent rapping, the grown folk bars about what it's like for where they are at the stage in their life. You're also getting all kinds of humor, man. There were some laugh out loud moments on here. Like, a lot of skits and shit like that don't usually make me laugh. I might go, it's kind of funny, or I'll skip it all the time. The skits on this are actually funny, and I usually don't even pass over them. Super good album, man. Mega dope, whatever you want to say. Little Brother, may the Lord watch. Thank you so much, Little Brother. We were waiting for this shit a long time, and it was damn well worth it. And lastly, at the number 1 spot is a choice that, you know, I kind of felt like it was too obvious, like everyone was going to have this at number 1, but god damn it, it is what it is, man. We got Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with Bandana. I thought this shit, it just had very few flaws, if any, man. This was a really close to a 5 out of 5 album for me. I did go with a strong 4.5 out of 5, but this shit is just so dope, man. I think Madlib's production skills are still just as great as ever. Very unique sample choices, and then Freddie Gibbs just stepped his rapping up. He's rapping even better over here, still coming through with a lot of fun references, crazy flows, tying in a bit of singing, you know, spitting about that street shit that he can do so well. You get grimy beats, some beautiful beats, And you know what? Very quietly, nah, fuck that, not very quietly, man. Freddie Gibbs has gotten a lot of respect. We all know Freddie Gibbs, goddammit. Freddie Gibbs is really in the conversation for one of the best rappers out right now, in my opinion. I mean, if you're putting together your favorite list of all time, at least if I am, he's working his way in. And again, I've been listening to rap for a long time, so my list is going to include some older rappers, whereas, you know, if you're younger, you might not value some of these older guys as much. It's all a generational thing, man. But the point is, Freddie Gibbs is killing shit. I think he's a mega dope rapper. I love what he was doing on here. His discography has been very consistent, I think, since, you know, like the early 2010s when I first started listening to him, all those mixtapes, his albums. Of course, we got to shout out the fact that Pinata, also done with Madlib, that is already considered a classic. This thing is right up there with that album. I think it's very close. We'll see what people are saying within time, but yeah, man, Bandana, the #1 spot. Very well deserving. I love it. And I love all these albums, man. I forgot to say at the start that I feel like a lot of these albums I could readjust my list plenty of times. Like, it's so hard to make a list because I feel like it's such a final thing. It gives me a bit of anxiety, actually, because everyone's going to say, why is this here? Why is that here? But you know what? It's my list. That's all I gotta say. It's my list. You guys are gonna have your own list, and I want you to share with me what your list is, man. Let's keep things positive in this comment section, man. Let's just be happy we all found some music we like. Even if you have some shit in your list that maybe was on my worst list or I didn't like, I'm happy for you. Thank you for supporting the channel this year. We all got different tastes. I say that a lot because sometimes I think people feel like I'm trying to tell people what they should like, and this is the real shit. This is what it is. No, man, like what you like. I'm going to roast some shit that I don't like and rip it apart, just like people do, because we do that when we talk about music, man. We're music fans. But I hope you found a lot of dope projects that you like this year. I certainly did. I love all these. Honorable mentions. Let me see here. Let's get a drink. I get a drink. I've been recording this shit for like over half an hour. I'll take a water break too if you want. But honorable mentions, I got Toro y Moi, Outer Peace. Not my favorite Toro album by far, but it was pretty good. Black Moon, Rise of the Moon, it was nice to hear from them again. Earth Gang, Mirrorland, I thought that was a pretty special album. I think moving forward, a bit more content and, you know, just doing some other things I think will really make them stick out even more. But that was a fun album. Common, Let Love, kind of a typical Common album, very jazzy, smooth, and soulful, with some grown folk rap on there. Rick Ross, Port of Miami 2. I thought that just sounded like some classic Rick Ross shit, so I definitely liked that. Maxo Lil Big Man, that's an underground project. I think it was Ryan from Not Real Music that put me onto that. Thank you for that. That was a pretty cool album. Check that out. Devin the Dude, still rolling up, something to ride with. I'm a diehard Devin the Dude fan. That song, Don't Be Afraid on there, has been one of my go-to songs when I just want to feel good, you know, not worry about negative energy and bad vibes or whatever. That was a fun album. Nas with the Lost Tapes too. Man, I thought that was, you know, I mean, I was going to say that was some of Nas's best new work, but it's a lot of unreleased and loose stuff, kind of like what Drake did. But that shit was dope, man. That was really close to making this list. It was right there. Jadena, 85 to Africa. That was another one I thought was kind of just fun, you know, nothing too deep. He did touch on more subjects on his last album, but this one had a lot of Afrobeat stuff on it, high life genre, you know, some different things on it. I thought it was fun for what it is. Yeah, man, that's just a couple that I took down. I know there's plenty of other ones. People are going to say, where's this album? Why isn't this on here? Again, it's just my list, man. It is what it is. Your list is going to be different. There's going to be songs on this list that you're going to say, I mean, albums on this list, where you're going to say, what is he thinking? How is that on here and not this? Because of these fuckers right here. See these? See these sons of bitches? These are my ears. They hear different things than your ears. Science. I'm just going to end there because now we're just getting corny and cheesy. But thank you for watching, guys. Again, I hope you found lots of music that you loved in 2019. Thank you for supporting the channel. We're going to keep it going. Hopefully 2020 is a dope year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you do that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Drop your lists off below, and I will see you next time.